he's a priest. He doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah.
He's just on the ground going, oh, like that.
Sick.
Ow.
It's like a mukbang and a podcast.
A moot cast?
We're not hungry.
You're on top of a fish tank right now.
Yeah, you are.
Deal with it.
Deal. Just deal.
Yeah. That's what your life's about.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
What?
I forgot you were doing it.
You heard it here first.
How did you forget? There's a
Please cut it
camera.
out. Oh my god.
Like, yeah.
No, that's the intro. Oh, SpongeBob. Why?
Like, oh, why?
Just because you guys have a handle on yourselves now.
Oh, man. I like the word jabroni. I like it a lot.
Is this just secret time?
Yeah.
Secret time. I like the word jabroni.
It doesn't sound like a bad thing to be, does it?
A
Unless you know
jabroni?
what it is.
Yeah, no. I mean, you kids probably out there don't know. What am I talking about,
Dude,
kids?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what a jabroni is?
I don't know ever.
You're
I don't know.
92. You, absolutely. No, you're like.
I thought you called me like 92 years old. I was like, you're
No,
an
you're
asshole.
92. You should fucking. You should know what a jabroni is. You're in the era of fucking. You're in the Rocky Maivia era. You're not
What's
even.
that?
You're not even in the era when he was called The Rock. No, but you were born in 92. That means you started. If you were watching wrestling, you probably started watching wrestling like 97.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
The Rock was still Rocky Maivia then. He was still fighting amateur.
When you wear those tight purple
He was
pants.
still a dildo. Like, he was still an asshole.
Dude.
He wasn't like America's sweetheart like he is now.
Do you know who was
Movies with
crazy?
Kevin Hart and shit.
Rey Mysterio is crazy.
Rey Mysterio is
When you were a kid watching wrestling, and then
It was like my life's goal
I-
to find out what he actually looked like for real.
He's
Yeah,
actually a good-looking man.
but it was
I know.
like,
I got older and a little. I got a little older and a slight bit more intelligent. Was like, I could probably just Google this, and then I did.
that's it. Like with me, it was like I started off and it was like kind of all like one style. I used to have like videotapes with like Hulk Hogan, like in all of his movies and shit. He was like probably the first like really popular fucking wrestler. And then to go from that like type of wrestling, it was always really big, tall guys, just like doing that. And then like when my nephews, like I stopped watching it, and then when my nephews were little, they used to watch. They were watching like SummerSlam and all this shit. And then you see people like, I think the two stand-ups were probably like Brock Lesnar with the fucking thing where
The
it
F5, yeah.
like that blew people's minds. But then Rey Mysterio, he was like, nobody was doing that shit. He
Well,
was,
especially
like,
the
trying to do
619, that fucking crazy like
That was insane.
around the
Out of the
ropes
ropes
thing.
and back and kick
Yeah,
them.
kick him in the face. Like,
Do you know one thing about wrestling though?
Put this in here.
Like, in that, it's only for that little portion of your life, isn't it? For a little bit where it's okay to like watch it, and then you kind of stop being interested if you find other things, right?
When you mature a little.
But when you mature, like we're like, everyone makes fun of it, you know. We'll make fun of it. But the thing is we all get over it. Like we, like, are like, fuck you. But it just doesn't die. Like just because we forget about it, like it's getting fed by the next one. Like they make it blew my mind when because I was like, that's old news, but they're still doing it.
Yeah,
Like
it's still huge.
they're still making a lot of money.
Excuse me. It's still one of the biggest draws in sports entertainment is professional wrestling.
And they're still making so much money too.
So Hunter Helmsley, Triple H, the CEO, I guess he's the CEO of the WWE now.
Yeah.
It's worth like $150 million or something crazy shit.
The Hardy Brothers.
Oh yes, Matt and Jeff.
Matt.
Oh, do you remember fucking Captain Kill Your Kids.
Captain Kill Your Kids? What?
Fucking Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero. Yo, you talking about Chris Benoit.
Oh yeah.
The Canadian crippler, yeah. Captain Kill Your Kids. Oh my god. Oh shit, that's fucked up. That's so fucked up, Warren. Warren, that's so fucked up.
That was from so long ago.
Captain Kill Your Kids.
Dude, I left it longer than they left 9/11 to be good with this. What was that, like 2 years after an event like that? And we're joking about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris Benoit did do that shit a long time ago.
That's really nice.
So I waited, but like now it's too soon. I don't know when the right time's gonna be.
I have no idea. That was the worst thing you ever said.
No, it's not. Let's be honest.
No, like we can recap. I have every podcast we've ever done archived. And we've said some pretty raw ass shit, but that
Yeah.
Captain Kill Your Kids. It's so fucked up.
I was aiming for something softer, but my mouth had already started moving.
Can I-
And it's all, yeah, man. And that's all I could come up with.
That's brilliant.
It's so tasty.
Yeah, my taste, like I said, my taste buds are messed up right now. So I
bet they are.
to me, it tastes like
Maybe
just
before.
dirt. That tastes like
These fish are like
dirt. Like you just open the door and say, "Hey, we want to bang dudes." Like that's gonna be all walking in there.
There's line around the corner.
You know what I mean? Like, so if they just did that, then they don't have to be fucking
Weird.
getting freaky on it. You know, like they just
They don't have to jeopardize their lives and the lives of other people. They can just say, hey, you know, you're going to learn about God and a whole bunch of really cool stuff, and occasionally, if you'd like, we'll open up this back door and you can come in and get fucked in the butt.
Yeah, if it just becomes a thing that everybody knows, oh yeah, well, you know, he's just like, when we're not here on Sunday, he's just fucking dudes. Like, that's what he does.
This is a giant fucking sucker.
Yeah, you know, he's kind of weird.
I can't, because I'm going to hell.
But we like the stories and the songs are fun. So we'll keep going
it's
back.
just, you know.
It's all good, as long as you're not doing it while I'm here.
Like, it's the thing that is it with it as well as like almost every priest that I've ever seen in my life, it's just like they become like the leader of like think about it, all these people come to them every Sunday, listen to all that shit. So they're like kind of like a a leader type figure.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is you just can't take them seriously because none of them would ever be a leader. Like, you know.
That is unfortunately true.
Like you look at them and like, why are we all stood here listening to what he's saying? Like,
well, that's why
isn't,
the
like-
priest gets bitch slapped so much in The Walking Dead. Not because he's an inferior actor nor character. It's just the fact that when the dead are literally rising from the grave, if you go by the good book, you should follow the priest. But let's face it, if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm not going for the guy that's going, give me you're tired, you're weak, you're sick. I'm going for the Rick Grimes that has a 44 mag into that dude's head going, fucker, don't you better close that goddamn door.
yeah.
Like, it just unfortunately doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the real
Plus,
world.
does it even say anything about the priest in the Bible?
It does actually. In the Bible, it doesn't refer to priests. Well, because the clergy itself is a construct of the human condition. Because we all know, let's just be honest, the Catholic religion and all of that stuff is the biggest business in the entire world. They have more money than there is money. So if we're just going to gloss over that, the clergy is basically your clerks, your managers, and your general managers. And then you have your deacons, you have your deacons, and you have your higher clergymen, and then you have your pope, who is basically like your CEO. All that bullshit is whatever. But in the Bible, it does state men that are of the prophecy and men that are given the ability to speak on God's behalf, which is basically what a priest is doing. He's a conduit for the Almighty, which is basically someone put in place to interpret the Bible to the people in front of him that don't understand it. You know, but you know, I'm sorry. My Jesus is a cool Jesus. He doesn't discriminate like a lot of other Jesuses.
I like to picture my Jesus. Yeah, Jesus, alright.
Jesus. Yeah, I think that might be the plural. I don't know. What's your Jesus like?
mine wears my one wears a tuxedo shirt.
A tuxedo shirt. So you like
So he says like I'm casual, but I'm here to party.
right.
You know,
What's your Jesus name?
mischievous bastard.
He's like the dude.
So you're talking like the dude, like the Big Lebowski?
The dude.
Yeah,
Super
it's
chill.
your opinion,
Super chill. Loves everybody.
Nice Martin.
You're nice to him, he's nice to you. Just like hippy dippy chill.
That's dope.
Just don't be a shitty person, man.
My Jesus is like the cool bouncer at the club. If you know that guy, he's like the dude that doesn't let the underage kids in, but if they're in there, he just watches like, hey, don't, you guys can be in here. You snuck in, good for you. Just you can't drink, or else they're gonna throw your asses out. Like, he's the cool he smokes weed.
Yeah.
He smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying I smoke weed or anything, or I'm condoning any of you kids out there. I keep going like this. No one watches this. But he smokes weed. It's good weed too. Like he's
Yeah.
Jesus. Like he can
Yeah.
say, like, you know, he turns water into wine while I'm shaking a guy.
And he's one of those guys because there is those guys where he's just like so cool that he could be smoking a joint and the police don't say nothing because it's just like, of course he does. Look at, like, he's the coolest guy.
The cops would come up and they would ash it for him. I think he's like, here, sorry, Jesus. Sorry,
yeah, but he'd just be, but they're not like scared of him.
Yeah,
like, they're just like,
it's respect.
it's like, oh, that's just what he does. He is like well established in this. I forget what I was doing.
Is the generational differences for church?
Oh yeah, like doesn't it, like, you know how they say it's meant to be, like how it's meant to feel inside a church? Did anyone else just get the feeling that, like, especially I played a lot of video games, like I walk through there and it just looks like a place where people die. Like
It looks like you're supposed to go in there to find a specific map or gem, and when you get to the altar, you get ambushed from behind.
I like somebody said, do you remember that Bully Beatdown show?
Oh yeah, with Jason.
Somebody pointed something out today. I was watching a video of him, and he was doing an interview or something, and somebody like left a comment on there that like blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, like that would have been perfect for the time. Because somebody said he would have been a great Deadpool, and I was like, that's kind of outside the box. You know, not many people are thinking anyone better than him. But because he's legit, he has that like legit factor of like, yeah, he could kick your ass. Like, you know.
Can I just say?
That would have been cool.
Can I just say, Rip Stanley, Excelsior.
Yeah. He died.
Oh, Rip. Oh, R.I.P. I thought it was like Rip Stanley. I'm like, that's a dope porn name. Like
Rip Stanley. That's, yeah.
Fucking Rip Stanley in the Vag of Doom.
Come here, Rip.
In Diana Johnson and the Temple of Poon.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why does it always go back to porn?
It always does, and that was your fault this time.
That was my fault. I've been so good about it. It's always you two.
I didn't say nothing.
It's always you two, but it's me this time.
Yeah, shame.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Calico Jack. Not Spawn.
Damn.
Please spawn.
Don't you dare
The
abuse
one-
my alcohol like that.
One
My alcohol
underrated,
It's alcohol.
one underrated college movie, because you know American Pie gets all the one for like a teen movie. It kind of hit all the things. It was good, but a better one and a really underrated one was Accepted.
Oh god, that's such a good movie.
Like not many people have watched that, and that is fucking awesome.
See, I can't believe that though, because there's so many, like fucking Blake Lively.
I told you that in
and
confidence, hands.
Blake Lively, Jonah Hill, fucking Jake. What's his name? Justin Long. I'm gonna say Jake Gyllenhaal. I always get them two mixed up.
He's the most important one because he's a cutie pie.
Justin Long is fucking. He's funny.
I
Lewis
love
Black is in that movie.
Yeah.
Like it's so like that movie's fucking funny.
Justin
And like
Long's
Blake Lively goes on to marry Ryan Reynolds. Blake Lively is in a movie before she's anything about college, and then goes to marry Van Wilder. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That is not even on, I don't think.
It's not.
Is
Just
it?
drive
Oh, yeah.
it.
Go to bed. You're in timeout, you're grounded.
going for the throat.
What's wrong, Jesse? You're on your ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you are right. That movie is
It's
one of my
amazing.
favorites.
I want to get a VHS player. I think we talked about this in length before, so we won't go into it. But like, I'm literally like almost gonna be looking for one like soon because
I think like if we go to my parents' house, there's got to be like an archive.
yeah,
There's got to be like 4 or 5 VHS.
I just remember the experience of watching VHS being a
Not
lot.
anymore, probably.
Yeah, no, we would talk like early on when we started recording these talks and everything. We used to talk about what, like, you know, you got like a 55-inch TV. I've got a big 50-inch here, the flat panel with a 4K and all kinds of crazy shit. And it's like, but what was better was when you watched it on that shitty like 19-inch TV that you had in your bedroom. And it would letterbox on you, so it was like 19 by like 7.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing ever.
Yeah. I know, and it's like, I don't get it. Like, I just think that like even on a bigger TV like this, I think that the movies are too like, I can see what they're doing. Like
It's too crisp.
there's no like silk curtain or nothing to, you know, for me to believe it because. Even if I guarantee you, we could do a side by side. The effects and stuff and everything they do looks so much better at that quality.
Yeah.
And it's just so much more believable because I'm watching these like I remember the biggest one being like Die Hard when the fucking tanker goes right. Like think of that entire scene, how intense that was. Like all the levels. It was like a really intense part of cinema, right? And it was totally viable even then. You know, and even if we watch it now, it holds up. You're like, holy shit. And but then look at like the Expendables or some shit where they have all those explosions going on. It's so like.
So it looks
you
like
can tell,
it looks like it's a.
I can
like
pretty
a
much see the
Universal
pyrotechnic.
Studios thing.
Yeah, I can see it and I know how it's working and it's just like not
It's exciting at
convincing.
all.
Yeah, when John McClane shoves like 8 pounds of C4 down a fucking elevator shaft and goes, I got your. It's like, why don't you take this under advisement, jerkweed? And he throws that down and literally levels an entire floor of a building.
Yeah.
You're like, that happened.
Because if you think about movies like Neverending Story, stuff like that,
Oh,
that could only really work at that quality.
Mm-hmm.
Because that little like fuzziness that there is to it fills in the lines of costumes of all those things to make those good movies be able to happen.
The perfect example of that is we were watching one of our oldest son's favorite movies right now is Nightmare Before Christmas, which we couldn't be happier that one of his favorite movies is a Tim Burton classic. That's like
So good.
Yeah, there you go.
that's somebody looking down.
Raised him right, that one.
But like, what was cool about that is like it's a Blu-ray, so it's full 1080p upscaled on the 4K TV. It looks great, and that movie upscale the animation, the stop motion upscale works. But when I was looking at it, first you can they actually used some modeling clay in that. So like for Oogie Boogie. As an example, you can see the thumb printing. You can see what they like to call the breeze effect.
Yeah.
But you can see stuff kind of moving in the background because of how many frames there are. 24 frames per second of film.
Yeah.
You know. But the cool part was the special features, like the featurette that they did, was in 4:3 in like the original resolution.
Yeah. Dude.
So it completely letterboxed both sides, and it was like a 4:3 square, like an old TV. And you saw clips of the film, and the clips they showed of the film were better than the full upscaled resolution. You're like, that's because that was the format it was shot for.
Yeah, and there are movies now that wouldn't work. Well, actually, I'd argue that they'd work even better on VHS at the level we're at now. Like, you watch movies that are convincing on this, if you were to put that in VHS format and watch it with that thing in front, it's gonna be like
if you watch The Conjuring.
Yeah.
If you watch The Conjuring,
that would add an
4:3,
ominous to it too, because like I find it some of these movies, especially horror movies, are way too polished and clean.
Yeah.
Because I can see I can see the animation and stuff. It's all very brightly lit too. A lot of like that type of camera they use. It's kind of like just that typical drama shot camera. and then everything's too bright. I can see the special effects, like they just stand out to me. Like, but if you had it in VHS form, it was always a little bit duller, like the color,
Yeah,
like
it's
contrast
the
and shit.
the pixel stacked and everything.
And just that fuzziness of the actual TV itself too, like. So when you watch The Conjuring, you don't see any of that crazy shit. You don't see the transitions of like real effect.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell, especially in like, say like if you took something, not, The Conjuring didn't have very much visual effect. In fact, they did a lot of the stuff for The Conjuring practical. Like a lot when people get thrown or stuff gets shut and all that stuff. The only like thing that they did digitally was a lot of the demon stuff that was only in there. But if you took like Insidious.
Yeah.
Or a movie with a lot of jump scares and a lot of demon stuff, or Mama.
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
Could you imagine watching Mama in the VHS resolution, like 480, 640, 7, like
or The Nun.
Even hot, or The Nun, like those movies with, or Veronica, the Netflix horror movie.
Yeah.
That was
Did
on
you
there
watch
that we saw?
Haunt in Hill House?
No, but we did start watching that.
I did watch that.
Did you ever see the series Haunted?
Oh, yeah, that's the one where the people have talked about their
and they do super crazy stylized.
they make it interesting. Yeah, because there's a couple of ones that have been on Netflix before, kind of talking about the same type of deal, but they're like really horrible to watch. Like it's just watching them do that. But you know what I mean. But having like stuff in that makes it fucking way easier to watch.
Yeah, you know? and if they, like, I would love to see, like, the reason the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was so visceral, like the original. I'm not shading the fucking remakes. I'm not even talking about them right now. I just watched Leatherface. It was friggin' terrible. Sorry.
Did you?
Yeah. I watched it when you guys were on vacation. It's horrible.
That's fine.
But, fuck it, whatever. But the original 1978 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the reason that was so fucking scary is because it was done handheld cinema verite by Toby Hooper and Daniel Pearl. It looked like a snuff film. It looked like these people were actually dying. Like when Leatherface comes out, when the guy like stumbles into the house in the Leatherface's kill room, and he just looks up and Gunnar Henson's 6'6" frame is in front of him, and he just whacks him with a fucking hammer. And he's on the ground convulsing. It's like, oh, that guy really just fucking died.
Yeah. No, like, I think it's crazy that, like, I feel like they did way more back then, because now everything's so generic. So, like, if it's a space movie, you know, or an adventure movie, you look at, like, what was it called, Delirium? You look at that, but the backdrop, the green screens they're doing.
Matt Damon?
No, it was
Channing Tatum.
No, it was
Valerian.
Delirium was the one with that kid who was in Chronicle.
Okay.
You know the one?
I know who you're talking about. I'm not sure.
So like with that, you know, they had all this technology, they made all these big scenes, they did all this special effects, but the world in there, not only was it not as visually like wild for a movie like that, like it is wild visually, but I mean like the sets themselves, like, you know, they're kind of just really generic type stuff, and they didn't really go outside the box.
Sure.
And it felt like less. Think of all the men they had working on that movie. How the companies work now, their cameras, all the effects, everything they have, top of the end of everything. And what they made wasn't as like believable as like, holy shit, look at this place, like it's lived in. It doesn't feel lived in. But like if you go back, compare that movie that came out last year, the year before, you know, fairly, you know, and it is a good movie and it looks amazing. I will say that, but like compare it to fucking what's it fucking called? The
2001.
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. Oh yeah.
Like
fuck
that environment straight away. I think you only see it in that one scene when a couple scenes when he's in the taxi. Yeah, like in that one scene when he jumps down. In that whole scene, you almost experience the entire place. Like it feels real. There's a lot of stuff going on.
You experience New York City in the very distant, very very distant future, I think it's New York City.
I think
It's either New York
it's
City
just
or
like
LA,
it's just a really really good scene actually because it tells you a lot. That small scene tells you like a lot about
Yeah,
like,
well,
is
Luc
happening.
Besson, Luc, like, a fucking great ass director. Luc Besson, he like that's his jam. Like one of my favorite movies he did was The Professional.
Okay.
With Leon the Professional.
Yeah.
With
I forget.
Jean Reno
That's
and
it.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
That's literally like if I were to pick like obviously there's like 20 movies in your top 5.
Oh, what is this? Twizzlers.
That's like one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite film, The Professional. And Luc Besson does so much with so very little
Right.
environmental storytelling. Like it really, the movie's basically a bulk of the movie is in this little tiny apartment,
Yeah.
or several. There's a couple different apartments that they move into.
Like there's movies like that, like where most of the movie takes place in a particular spot where they just kind of base that whole concept on the movie. They'll just use it. They'll just it's
Yeah.
called The Room or this or that. But like there are some movies out there which don't literally tell you what the plot is. And that's the problem with a lot of movies now, is they literally tell you the plot in the title, and that isn't always good. Because if you watch, like, this is a crazy example, like The Burbs,
Yeah.
like, you don't even suspect that shit going
Yeah,
in.
you have no
They
fucking
did-
clue
they
that
did
it's
not
going to
sell
be
that
this
at all.
really.
And how
weird.
the movie starts, like, very 50s and 60s, like, colours and shit like that, very bright, colourful. Oh, I'm safe here. It's like a hat, you know, that. I don't know why that era always is like, oh, I don't have to worry about nothing bad happening. I don't know, it feels a lot, like, bigger, like, because when you come into the movie, you're like, oh, look at this, you really take it in because there's so many possibilities, you don't know where the movie's really going.
Mhm.
So you take in those environments they make. But with a movie called, like, The Room or The Elevator, it's like you're not really paying attention to shit until they get in the elevator. You know the movie isn't on until they're in the elevator. So
Yeah,
you're like
exactly.
already like mentally checked out. You're not really.
Is that what that movie was called? No, it was called Devil.
Yeah.
Devil, yeah. Which is kind of the roundabout thing you're talking about. It's like the movie's called Devil, what the fuck's gonna happen? And then all of a sudden it ends up in an elevator. I don't know, how'd you feel? Did you see that movie, Dave?
What?
The movie Devil?
Recap.
6 people in an elevator, one of them's a devil.
Yes.
I think
Which
people.
is, that's literally the synopsis of the film. Stop this podcast and go watch it. Because that's what it is. It's 6 people in an elevator, one of them's Satan. That's it. And it is not who you fucking think it is. Well,
He was the married one.
that's as good a place as any to stop this particular leg of the podcast. But if you'd like to join us for more, please subscribe. Roundtable Props. Also subscribe to Jason and Tiff. That's our little thing here. We promise more than just talks of dildos and cock rings and stuff is going to be up on the Roundtable Props. It's just fun to talk about funny shit. We're going to stop. Bye.
The English guy is trying funny foods.